The Epstein files are a partially released collection of millions of documents, images, videos, and emails detailing the activities of American financier and convicted child sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, including his social circle of public figures, politicians, and celebrities. The files include documents collected as evidence in the criminal cases against Epstein and his associates, stored as over 300 gigabytes of data, alongside other media, in the FBI's Sentinel Case Management System. They include Epstein's contacts book, flight logs of his planes, and court documents. Many of the records and files belong to Epstein's estate, which is run by lawyer Darren Indyke and accountant Richard Kahn. On January 30, 2026, an additional 3 million pages were released, including 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. While the Department of Justice acknowledged that a total of 6 million pages might qualify as files required to be released, it stated that the January 30 release would be the final one, and that it had met its legal obligations. The released files mentioned a number of public figures and led to increased scrutiny of their activities. As of February 2026, individuals whose names show up frequently in the files include Epstein's assistant Leslie Groff, 157,613 mentions, accountant Richard Kahn, 52,781 mentions, US President Donald Trump and his wife Melania Trump, more than 38,000 references, lawyer Darren Indyke, 17,783 mentions, sex trafficker and socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, 13,169 mentions, and modeling agent Jean-Luc Brunel, 4,727 mentions. As of February 19, 2026, Gmail, a browser-based archive dedicated to the Epstein files, has archived a total of 1,412,250 files, 2,474,242 pages, and 1,038,603 emails, with 1,401,320 documents as released by the DOJ and 8,624 documents from the House Oversight Committee. Florida Palm Beach Police Department began investigating Epstein after a woman reported that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been taken to Epstein's home and paid to strip and massage Epstein. Following an investigation, the FBI identified at least 35 girls with similar stories between 2002 and 2005. Epstein was indicted and pleaded guilty to soliciting a 17-year-old minor for prostitution in 2008. He was registered as a sex offender and sentenced to 18 months in prison. In 2018, an article in the Miami Herald critiqued his plea deal and sentence as lenient and interviewed victims who shared their experiences with Epstein between 2002 and 2005. Virginia Giuffre alleged that Epstein had been operating a trafficking ring that lent out girls to other powerful men. The media coverage prompted New York federal prosecutors to re-examine the case and investigate potential additional Epstein offenses between 2002 and 2005. Investigators corroborated victims' stories of abuse. According to declassified 2019 FBI investigation findings released in 2026, other victims did not corroborate Giuffre's specific allegation that Epstein had operated a trafficking ring that lent out girls to other powerful men. Jeffrey Edward Epstein, January 20, 1953, August 10, 2019, was an American financier and child sex offender. Over the course of several decades, he cultivated a vast international network of prominent individuals from across Western high society, including notable figures in finance, business, politics, law, government, academia, royalty, entertainment, and other domains. He was indicted in 2019 for child sex trafficking in the U.S. Southern District of New York, but died in custody before his case went to trial. Epstein was acquaintances or friends with public figures including Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Sergey Brin, Noam Chomsky, Steve Bannon, Ehud Barak, Richard Branson, Leon Black, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, Bill Gates, Mette Marit, Crown Princess of Norway, and many others. The Epstein Files, a series of files that have gradually been released as part of the Epstein Files Transparency Act starting in December 2025, provide a public glimpse into the vast network he had cultivated over the late 20th and early 21st centuries. Epstein was arrested again on July 6, 2019, on federal charges for the sex trafficking of minors in Florida and New York. He died in his jail cell on August 10, 2019. Barbara Sampson, the then New York City medical examiner, ruled that his death was a suicide by hanging. The forensic pathologist Michael Baden disputed the ruling, and there has been significant public skepticism about the cause of his death, resulting in conspiracy theories. Since Epstein's death precluded the possibility of pursuing criminal charges against him, a judge dismissed all criminal charges on August 29, 2019. Epstein had a decades-long association with socialite Ghislaine Maxwell, who recruited young girls for him, leading to her 2021 conviction on U.S. federal charges of sex trafficking and conspiracy for helping him procure girls, including a 14-year-old, for child sexual abuse and prostitution. After his first arrest, Epstein began an interest in the surveillance industry. Epstein maintained a close relationship with former Israeli Prime Minister and Defense Minister Ehud Barak, exchanging private emails with him and meeting more than 30 times between 2013 and 2017. He also facilitated Barak's interactions with prominent figures, including Peter Thiel, as well as Sergei Belyakov and Viktor Vekselberg, who were connected to Vladimir Putin's circle. These interactions are documented in the leaked Barak Epstein emails released by the Handala hacker group, whose authenticity has been partially corroborated by independent reporting, including Epstein allegedly lent girls to powerful people to ingratiate himself with them and also to gain possible blackmail information. According to the Department of Justice, he kept compact discs locked in his safe with handwritten labels that included the description young name plus name. Epstein implied that he had blackmail material when he told a New York Times reporter in 2018, off the record, that he held incriminating information about powerful people, including information about their sexual proclivities and recreational drug use. In August 2025, author Michael Wolff remarked that Epstein's email archives, which was seized when the FBI raided his New York mansion and took possession of his computers, are likely to incriminate others.
According to the Washington Post, Palm Beach police were tipped off in November 2004 about young women coming and going from Epstein's home. Epstein donated $90,000 to the police department on December 14th. In March 2005, a woman contacted Florida's Palm Beach Police Department and alleged that her 14-year-old stepdaughter had been taken to Epstein's mansion by an older girl. While there, she was allegedly paid $300 to strip and massage Epstein. She had allegedly undressed but left the encounter wearing her underwear. Palm Beach police began a 13-month undercover investigation of Epstein, including a search of his Palm Beach home. Former Palm Beach Police Chief Michael Rater spoke to the FBI in 2019, and the FBI documented the information as follows. The case started to grow rapidly. Experience inside the house was then corroborated. More surveillance was done on EPSTIN's house. Some kids were observed, prepubescent with braces and backpacks coming from school. Aviation personnel spoke with PBPD about who was coming and going. One employee said there were dozens of girls in one day. The PBPD then put together a case and brought it to the state's attorney's office. During the investigation, Rater publicly accused the Palm Beach County State Prosecutor, Barry Krischer, of being too lenient and called for help from the FBI. After Epstein's death, he similarly told the FBI that he blamed Krischer for not pursuing the case. The FBI then became involved. Subsequently, the police alleged that Epstein had paid several girls to perform sexual acts with him. Interviews with 5 alleged victims and 17 witnesses under oath, a high school transcript and other items found in Epstein's trash and home allegedly showed that some of the girls involved were under 18, the youngest being 14, with many under 16. The police search of Epstein's home found 2 hidden cameras and large numbers of photos of girls throughout the house, some of whom the police had interviewed in the course of their investigation. Adriana Ross, a former model from Poland who became an Epstein assistant, reportedly removed computer drives and other electronic equipment from the financier's Florida mansion before Palm Beach police searched the home. The court documents record that a search of Epstein's residence by Palm Beach police detective Joseph Reckery in 2005 uncovered an incriminating Amazon receipt containing books on sadomasochism.
Imagine a routine so dark it sends a chill down your spine. A former employee told the police that the powerful financier, Jeffrey Epstein, would receive massages 3 times a day. This wasn't about relaxation. This was the chillingly regular schedule of abuse that unfolded for years, hidden in plain sight. The scale of it is just staggering. The FBI, after their investigation, compiled reports on 34 confirmed minors. These were young girls who were eligible for restitution, and this number later grew to 40 in the non-prosecution agreement. Each of their stories of sexual abuse by Epstein included details that backed each other up, creating a horrifyingly consistent picture. But even that number doesn't capture the full reality. It was the incredible work of journalist Julie Brown in her 2018 exposés for the Miami Herald that truly blew the lid off this. She managed to identify 80 victims and located about 60 of them. Think about that, 80 lives. She even quoted the police chief at the time, writer, who said, and I'm quoting here, "This was 50-something she's and 1 he, and the she's all basically told the same story." The consistency was the most damning part. The details that emerged from the investigation were like something from a nightmare. One of the most well-known accusers, Virginia Giuffre, alleged that 12-year-old triplets were flown in all the way from France just for Epstein's birthday. After being sexually abused by him, they were flown back the very next day. This wasn't just happening in one place. It was a global network. Young girls were allegedly recruited from Brazil and other South American countries, from former Soviet nations, and from all over Europe. A key player in this was a man named Jean-Luc Brunel and his modeling agency MC2. It was alleged that this agency was supplying girls to Epstein. Investigators seized Epstein's devices at his homes in New York, Florida, and the US Virgin Islands. They found CDs, photographs, and a videotape containing nude images of females, some who seemed as if they might be minors. According to a memo published 4 days after his arrest, the search of his New York townhouse turned up evidence of sex trafficking and hundreds and perhaps thousands of sexually suggestive photographs of fully or partially nude females. In a locked safe, discs were found with labels Young, Name, plus Name, Misc Nudes 1, and Girl Pics Nude. USA Today noted that although investigators were still reviewing the material, one attorney said that his client was underage when some photos were taken. FBI investigators later determined that one device contained between 15 and 20 images depicting child sexual abuse material, CSAM, but that the material had been downloaded from the internet and not produced by Epstein himself. According to a memo later sent to the FBI by U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey, no videos or photos showed Epstein victims being sexually abused, none showed any males with any of the nude females, and none contained evidence implicating anyone other than Epstein and Maxwell. Comey stated they would have pursued any leads generated, but we did not, however, locate any such videos. Epstein's death became the subject of widespread controversy and debate, with the belief that his death was a homicide, including Epstein himself becoming a popular internet meme and conspiracy theory. As of October 2019, HBO was creating a limited series on Epstein's life and death to be directed and executive produced by Adam McKay. Sony Pictures Television is additionally developing a mini-series based on Epstein's life. The Netflix documentary series Jeffrey Epstein Filthy Rich premiered in May 2020. The Lifetime documentary Surviving Jeffrey Epstein premiered in August 2020. A panel of the United Nations Human Rights Council said that the Epstein files suggest a global criminal enterprise that committed crimes against humanity. This is the horrible reality of Epstein files and powerful people who were involved in it. For listening to such more mysteries, subscribe the channel and like the video.